Cool. Never been more excited about the business than now. Certainly, we have challenges with recruiting, but shout out to Dave Roy. We finally understand the Snapchat program. So thank you, Dave. I know you had to give the message about 100 times before we figured it out, but we figured it out. And, I think the secret sauce to it, we haven't had paid callers since 2016. And we've been trying to get cute and have our dom and ams do most, if not really all of the scheduling. And what I figured out is that they have teams to manage. They're running PCs, doing PDI, running interviews, post interviews, recruiting calls. And so, they can't just focus on recruiting. And so, if you go back old school, I think anybody can do the SNAP program and generate applications. But the secret sauce is, in my opinion, that you have paid callers and that you have coverage and you spend some money and you've got people in there. And in our pilot right now, we have 4 paid callers. They work 17 hours a week. It's Monday through Friday. I sent the schedule and what they do to Lloyd via text. So Lloyd, if you want to paste that and send it to them from yesterday, or I can resend it in a moment, just so you can look at it. But essentially, now in our office, I'm paying them $15 an hour. I'm doing $25 bonus for anyone that they book for an interview that get accepted. They complete training. So if they have somebody that they booked for an interview and they launch, I'm essentially giving them my launch bonus just as an incentive to get them to do a good job on the calls is what we're doing. And so it's made a really big difference. So about 3 weeks ago, we started the interview process. Tip would be it's easier to get these. We call our SMRAs or receptionists. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what they are. They're receptionists. But we call them SMIs, social media interns. That's the title that we're using. And we definitely posted flyers on Instagram. We sent DMs via Instagram. But out of the 4 that I have, 1 I got that way. The other 3 were people that I got recommended from other reps on the team. So I do think if you've got a few sharp past reps or active reps that they're from the market that you want to get back into in your territory, like your top high school markets, then that is the easiest and fastest way to get the coverage in place. And, hiring people for this position, it is challenging. It's not immediate overnight. And I think everyone's experiencing challenges hiring people, not just in Cutco, but in the US, right? With everything going on and all the you know you can sit at home and make $500 a week and do nothing. That's tough to combat. I know a lot of the southern states, July 1st, they cut that off. And so I think in July, we're going to see a little recruiting bump come from that. But to get back on track here, we've got 4 paid callers. They're working 17 hours a week. They're getting paid $15 an hour. They've got a $25 bonus incentive in place. So here's what I'll do real quick. I think I can share my screen. Yeah. All right. We've got a bunch of events today, so sorry for all the tabs here. So what we're really focused on in the pilot and the division are how many PRs and social media people are getting booked for interviews. And so if we go to last week, this is the breakdown. Or this will be the breakdown. All right, here we go. So we ended up, this is our office. We booked 168 PRs in social media last week. I don't give a shit about the IAPs and the mailers. We're going to get a few recruits from IAPs and mailers, but all this is handled by text to schedule. And, we'll keep a few of those people, but the people that move the needle the most are always going to be PRs and social media. So again, 168 booked last week in the pilot. So when you look at the breakdown, so we've got Emma, she's a paid caller, 29 booked, 48% showed an interview, 11 through the door. Gracie, she's a paid caller, 25 booked, 50% showed an interview, 10 through the door. Town, he's the Dom, 16 booked, 50% show. He's got his sniper rifle out. I make sure he's focused on the highest end PRs in our system. That's what he's focused on. Lee Baker's an assistant. He booked 7, had a really good show, 5 through the door. Madison, she's the sales manager, 9 booked, 22%, 2 through the door. Sydney, she's a paid caller. So that's paid caller number 3, 49 booked, 45% showed an interview, 19 through the door. Wyatt, he's an assistant, 12 booked, 36% show, 5 through the door. And Zoe, she's a paid caller, 21 booked, 38% show, 8 through the door. So out of these 168 booked last week, 125 were from our paid callers. If you look at the current week that we're in right now, well, for whatever reason, we have a report error. But anyways, we've already booked over 100 PRs in social media this week, and the breakdown's very similar. So I love that we have these paid callers. They're in Monday through Friday to where their only job is to focus on recruiting. And what their day looks like each day, their first hour, they post a flyer on their Snapchat story and their Instagram story. Then they send 50 DM messages to their social network. So the first hour of each day, Monday through Friday, they're doing social media. Now, 50 messages doesn't sound like a lot, but is 50 messages times 4 people. So that's 200, 200 times 5 days, that's 1,000. So we've got 1,000 social media messages that are going out from our paid callers each week. And that's generating additional touches. Now, the other thing that we're doing with Snapchat program, and this is me just repeating what Dave Roy's been preaching, but it's the program, it's the system. And I think Dave nailed it when he said it's all about consistency. And so in day 2 training, after we do PR name collection, we're getting everyone to post the flyer on their story. You can give them some extra credit for their fast start or an extra day, whatever you want to do to incentivize them. But we have them for accountability, do a screenshot, and they'll text it to the trainer. That way we know that it actually got posted. We do the same thing at the end of advanced training. We'll give them a different flyer. We'll get them to post that. You could offer an incentive if you feel like that's necessary. But for accountability, we do have them screenshots, send that over so we know they got it done. And then at the end of the team meeting, when we're doing PR recognition and social media recognition, we have everyone on the team. We ask everyone on the team to post the flyer. Now, we had 25 at our team meeting last week. We had 10 out of 25 actually post the flyer. So not everyone on the team is excited about team building. And so we don't force it, but we promote it and we set the expectation. And because there is a culture, it happens. And what happens from that is you're going to generate about 3 to 5 applications per person that ends up posting in training, in AT, in team meetings. So for example, from those 10 people at the team meeting that posted, we generated 40 applications. So that was about 4 per person from that. But the real secret sauce to the Snapchat program is to target. In the pilot, we target 4 or more reps every single week that we're going to do the Snap PC and program with. And the real key to them doing this, it either needs to be where they come into the office live, or you do this over Zoom, where you can walk them through the message they need to post, how they attach the flyer, how they attach your Google form, and then you show them. And this is the key ingredient is, hey, John, look, if we're going to do this, and I'm going to do, and again, whatever your incentive may be, like I love adding fast start prizes like Dave Roy, right? And so, but hey, if I'm going to do this for you, like this is expensive for me, I need to know you're going to do this the right way. And the only way that this is effective is if you actually send this to 90% or more of your contacts in Snapchat. Now, look, you're probably like me. I was like, man, nobody's going to actually repost this. You're going to be really surprised. If you do this the right way, John, what's going to happen is across your Snapchat, you're going to see 80% of people, you're going to see this flyer all across. And that is the key to it, is that you have multiple people reposting. And so you're getting a lot of eyes on this advertising. And what we've experienced from people who actually do the Snapchat program the right way, where they send it to 90% plus people, we get anywhere from 20 to 50 applications per person that does it. And so if you do what I just described, you're having them post the flyer after PR's day 2 training, end of AT, and team meeting, and then you're targeting 4 or more people to do the actual Snap PC program with, you're going to generate between 50 to 100 Google Docs a week, in some cases even more. So, last week we did everything I just described, but we had our 4 paid callers. After we worked with them for a week, we pulled them in. We had a relationship built, rapport was built. We launched them. They can sell if they want to, but we really did that so they could download Vector Impact and submit PR names. So we collected 100 plus PR names from each of those people. That made a difference. And then we had them do the Snap program. So last week we had the 4 paid callers and 5 reps do it. And we generated over 400 Google Docs last week. But the secret sauce is having the paid coverage. So that way, Monday through Friday, like when these apps come in, see, we figured out the Snap program a long time ago, but the problem was we didn't have coverage Monday through Friday that could call these apps right away. And so I do think that the apps have a shelf life, and I do think the shelf life is very short. I think the shelf life is 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72 hours. But if it goes longer than 3 days before they're reached out to, then it's not going to be good. So anyways, so you have the paid callers and they're calling these people. What happens, and again, like everything that Dave Roy was saying, it's like light bulbs just kept going off. It's like, I get it. And with this, our AMs and paid callers, they love calling the Google Docs because they applied and they're interested. So we're booking 80 to 90% on these Google Docs, and we're getting 40 to 60% show to interview from the Google Docs. I mean, y'all saw the stats I showed you. Like that was those paid callers. That was their first week on the job, and they were getting 40 to 60% show to interview. And the quality of these Google Doc apps is as good or better than PRs. Way better than the mailers we get in Memphis, and way better than the iApps we get in Memphis. That's for damn sure. So, our AMs and our paid callers, they're so excited about doing a Snap PC with someone or posting on social media because they don't want to have to call PRs. And so, I tell them, hey, I'm fine. We don't have to call PRs if we have enough Google Doc apps. But the reality is there's probably not going to be many, if any, weeks where that's the case. So we are going to call PRs. And I frame in with the paid callers and my AMs. Hey, this is the hardest part of the job. This is the part of the job you're going to like the least. But these are our sharpest people. And so we're still calling PR. So what happens again, first hour social media, then they're calling Google Docs. And then the last hour of every shift, they're calling PRs only, no matter what. Even if we still have Google Docs left, because I can get my AM staff to clean those up in the afternoon if need be. It's kind of reversed. My AMs, they call PRs, and then afternoon, they call Google Docs. So they finish with a breath of fresh air. The SMIs, They call the Google Docs, and the last hour they call PRs, and I let them know, hey, we got to get at least one PR booked in that hour. Hey, and they get so excited if they book 2 or 3, or they get a hot list. I booked 5 PRs because they know that's challenging, that's hard to do. So in terms of the process too, we call the Google Docs. And if they don't answer, we send them a text. And the text is something like, hey, got your application, Stacy. Wanted to talk to you about it for just a few minutes. Let us know a better day and time to call you back. Something real simple like that is what we're sending. So that way, a lot of people that don't answer, by sending that text, we are getting them to reply back, and then we're calling them and getting that book. That's helping with us being a little bit more efficient in terms of talking to people. We've got a color code system or our Google Doc. It's red on their name if they said no or wrong number. We've got green if they're booked, and then yellow if they've been called and sent a message. By the way, like 90% of what I'm describing is 100% from Dave Roy. He's got a big smile right now. He's like, that's what we do. So we're just, we're just putting it into play.
Mark, one of the things that you shared with me that I thought was a cool thing, and I thought this was a big nugget. Yesterday you said, look, I've got 4 people minimum that we target to do the snap with each week, but you also have 4 alternatives in case they say no. And I thought that was a big deal because every week you said, with the exception of last week, somebody, they don't get a hold of them, or they say no, or they no show. So you've always got a backup person, so your person doesn't go, oh, they didn't show or whatever.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. So, we have a Snapchat program hit list where we have people that we're targeting. We have past reps that we're reaching out to, current reps on the team as well. And then when we run our staff meeting each week, we're assigning the Dom and our other 3 AMs to people, and they've got their number one, this is who I want you to do the snap program with. But if for some reason you can't get the PC with them, or they end up saying, hey, I just don't want to do it, then hey, here's your backup person. That way we have, at a minimum, at least 4 people that we're doing this snap program with. And the reason the 4 number I think really matters is if you do snap program with 4 people or more each week, and you're doing the post on your story the 3 other times, training, AT, and team meeting, you're going to generate 50 to 100 Google Doc apps each week. And for us, that's enough for us to hit our recruiting goals and to keep my AMs and paid callers busy, is why I feel like that is important.
And Mark, you went from, I don't think you had a week where you had 20 people set for training all year. And you started this a couple of weeks ago, and now you're at 6, you're going to be over 60 people set for training this week. I mean, it's pretty substantial change. It's not like you all of a sudden went open net on us. We know better.
Yeah, no, I definitely have not gone open net. We're still focused on getting high quality people. We're looking for reasons to keep people versus not to keep, for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, we're really focused on PRs and social media. And I think in terms of calling PRs these days too, that let me see if Vector Live will act right. And again, I think this is pretty remedial. Let's see here if I can show you this. All right, so PRs these days, to call PRs, you have to actually applicant search. If you're doing the STAR program and text to schedule, which I think most people are, so to call through the PRs, you have to be more organized with your PR list. And we assign people PR, different reps, PR names that they're going to call. And so, for example, here, let's say I gave them Jack Alexander. They click on the PRs. We get them to click status. And then we have them call all the ones that say conveyor unreached. And what they do when they call these people, so for example, they call Baxter, they click his name, they call, he doesn't answer, hang up, call again, we double tap every name. And then the first time what happens when they're calling through the list, we will send a text, something similar to the conveyor snippet where it's like, hey, so-and-so recommended you, like to give you more information. If interested, let us know a better time to call you back. If not, just reply stop and we'll remove you from our referral list. And that's helping with us getting in touch with more people by doing that. But by having the not home and the left message tab here, see if I can get back into that. It's showing this little column that we can see how many times they've been called and we can see if they've been texted. So for example, I can tell that his list has almost been touched all the way through, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still have 8 of these PRs on his list that have not been called. And they didn't get that second text. And so again, what I'm doing every single week is on Saturday, I'm managing the duplicate PRs. I'm creating my conveyor groups. We blast out all the text on Sunday. We book the layups. We get the ones who say stop out of the system. And then Monday through Wednesday, the staff and the paid callers, they are calling PRs and I'm giving them 2 or 3 reps each. And they'll applicant search them and they're calling through that list. And again, we're not booking a ton of PRs, but it's like 2 PRs per person. Let's say we have the 4 AMs and then the 4 paid callers. So 2 times they said that's still 15, 16 PRs though, booked on a Monday, booked on a Tuesday, booked on a Wednesday. So 30 to 50 PRs getting booked from us calling the PRs. That doesn't count all the easy layups that said yes on Sunday. And then again, where we're seeing some really big wins are from Snapchat, the Google Doc apps, and then having the consistent coverage.
Excellent. Mark, thank you. That's really great.